And here's the big secret that I'm sure you're probably already aware, but I just have to lay it out like this. Balance is achieved when we create a lifestyle that is sustained. Super excited today to be talking to you guys about how to find balance in a way that you can fuel your body, but also live a fulfilled, non-restricted life. I absolutely love talking about this. The reason being is that so many people think it's impossible. They don't think that they can be aligned with their health, but also enjoy everything life has to offer. And it's just not true. And I love talking about it because I was that girl for so long. And I'm here to tell the story on the other side that it is absolutely possible. And that's what I want for all women to be able to feel that way so they can truly enjoy life, but also be able to prioritize their health. So let's just break down balance for a second. So we all talk about balance, like, what does that even really mean? And the answer is balance is different for each and every person. So whether balance for you is that you want to have a healthy lifestyle, but never skip ice cream dates with your kids, whether you want to have a healthy lifestyle, but also have an active social life, whether you just want to be a mom who has time to prioritize herself, but at the same time wants to be super present and super involved. Like, I'm here to tell you all of those things, and finding balance in those situations are absolutely possible. But there is some things that come along with that. So how do we create that balance? And here's the big secret that I'm sure you're probably already aware, but I just have to lay it out like this. Balance is achieved when we create a lifestyle that is sustained. It has to be sustainable. I ask people all the time, like, if you can't see yourself doing this a year from now, doing this 5 years from now, then don't do it right now. Because the reality will be you will quit, you will convince yourself you're a failure and that it's your fault, when in reality, it just wasn't sustainable and not a long-term solution. And you'll end up just wasting time when you could be building sustainability. So how exactly do we get that sustainability? Well, the answer is there are no quick fixes with sustainability. It's slow and steady progress over time. It's not saying I'm going to lose 30 pounds in a month and hope I don't gain it all back. It's these are going to be my goals each week, and each week I'm going to get better, and I'm just going to try to keep progressing towards my goal. And it doesn't matter how long it's going to take me, because I'm going to do this the long-term sustainable way. Sustainability is also not restricting ourselves or cutting our calories, because what happens is a vicious cycle. We can't sustain that, and then we end up quitting, and that doesn't work. Also, sustainability doesn't mean spending hours in the gym when we won't be spending time with our families. That's also not sustainable. We also don't want to be in a program that is overwhelming and it makes us quit. Because if we're overwhelmed, we're like, no, there's too many steps to this. Like, this is not possible. This is not feasible in this season of life. And it makes us quit altogether. Those things are the things that are not sustainable. I am totally guilty of trying to do things that are not sustainable. I was that girl for so long. And I have people tell me all the time, like, Lauren, I had this great, I went keto, I cut out carbs, like, this way, I lost like 30 pounds in a month. And I was so excited about it. Okay, what happened next? Okay, well then, once I stopped doing those things, I gained all the weight back. And so my question to them is always the same. And it is, why do you think it worked if you weren't able to sustain it? And that's the reality. It didn't work. And the reason why it didn't work is because it was too restrictive. It made them binge and quit. And then it served no long-term benefit. It was just a short-term fix. So in the end, it's just a time waster when we could have been building sustainability. So I'm here to tell you that there is hope and encouragement on the other side of this, that you can absolutely achieve balance in the way that you want to and stay aligned with your goals. You can absolutely be healthy and still eat sweets. You can absolutely go on vacation and not feel guilty. I mean, you can absolutely probably eat more than you ever have before and still be aligned with your health goals. So now you're thinking, like, Lauren, that sounds great. So what am I supposed to do to get there? And that's absolutely the $1 million question, right? So first and foremost, and it's going to be like the number one thing you should take away from this, is that we have to prioritize the nutrients and focus on getting the nutrients our body is craving in order to properly function. So our bodies are designed to do amazing things for us. But what happens is that we're not giving, or we don't give our bodies and our cells the ability to repair themselves, the ability to work the function they were designed to do. They're working against us. They're trying to grab energy and they're trying to grab things from other sources instead of just working the way that we're supposed to. But if we're not giving them the gas to do it, it's totally on us. So we have to focus on prioritizing those nutrients to be able to help our bodies function properly. And then we get to sprinkle in all the fun stuff after we prioritize that. So we're going to kind of go back a little nutrition one-on-one here to help you guys just kind of get a little background, because I love talking about nutrition and giving you the why behind the what. Meaning, to me, I'm like, it can tell me something, that's great, but I need to know the benefit of it, what it means if I don't do it, how it's affecting me. That's how you initiate changes, is you know those things, and then it drives you to want to change them. So let's go back and talk about what those nutrients are that we really need to be prioritizing. So I'm sure you've heard it all a million times: proteins, carbs, and fats. Let's break them down each individually, what you need from them, the importance of them. First thing being protein. So I'm sure you've all heard it. You need to eat more protein, all those types of things. Yes, you absolutely do. Here's why. Proteins are responsible for creating and repairing cells and tissues and structures. When I say structures, I'm talking about collagen, elastin, and of course, muscle. So I almost joke sometimes, it also is an anti-aging solution, because the collagen and elastin are things that we're losing as we get older. They're the things that cause our skin to not look the way it does. It causes wrinkles, all those types of things. Also help us recover faster. We're losing as we get older. So the more we eat protein, the more we're reinforcing the repair and building of those types of things. Not to mention, obviously, it's how you build lean muscle mass, which is what we all want. If we want more tone, more definition, we've got to have protein to help us repair and constantly create new cells to be able to do that. So if you're working hard in the gym, you're not getting all the benefit of it if you're not eating enough protein to get there. Also, protein is going to keep us fuller longer. So I always think, like, what's something I love that has absolutely no protein? Pancakes. If you love pancakes, I'm your girl. I'm like that too. So the thing about pancakes is we eat pancakes and then, 10 minutes later, we're like, God, why am I hungry? Like, gosh. And it is because it has absolutely more protein. So what does it lead us to do? It leads us to walk over to the pantry and like binge and grab anything and everything out of it to be able to fulfill that hunger that we could have satisfied if we just included maybe a protein source with it. Maybe we included some eggs, maybe we included some turkey sausage, whatever it may be, to add a protein source to it to keep us fuller longer. So I know your question is, how much protein do I need to be eating in a day? And the answer for that is you should be eating 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So what does that mean? Example, if you were to weigh 150 pounds, the minimum amount of protein you should be getting in a day is 150 pounds times 0.8, which would be 120 grams of protein. For someone that doesn't look at their protein counts on the daily or is not strategically trying to get to that number, that's an overwhelming number. Like, that's a high protein goal. I mean, even if you were to get 30 grams of protein in a meal, you'd still be left after breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 30 grams of protein to get there. So that's why we have to pay so close attention to those numbers to be able to strategically get to that protein goal, because it's not easy. That's usually the number one question my clients have, like, how do I get enough protein in my diet? And those are things that we work through. But that's the important thing about strategically paying attention to get those nutrients for our bodies to function the way they were designed to work. Like, it's not like your health is helping you reach a new goal and help your body to do all these new things it wasn't accustomed to. No, like prioritizing your health is helping your body to do the things it was already designed to do. So those are the things we need it to do. Okay, so now let's break, that's protein. Let's talk about carbs, because we all know carbs get a bad rap, but they're your primary fuel for energy and fiber. If you're tired all the time, you're not getting enough carbs in your life. You need to eat more carbs, unless you are diabetic or undergoing or have other conditions such as PCOS or anything like that, that you cannot eat more carbs in your meals, then you need to up your carb intake. Carbs get a bad rap because there is a difference between eating some good carbs for you and some not so great carbs for you, which we'll talk about in a second. But the benefit of that energy, you need it. Like, we need that energy all day, every day. And if you're not eating enough carbs to get it to you, you're missing out on the benefit of having it. We have to have that. So whenever you're like, I'm going to go keto and I'm just going to kick out carbs altogether, you're going to be real tired, like real tired. So just consider that when you're looking at short-term fixes. You're like, is it worth it to be happier with being, 30 pounds less, but also be miserable because you're exhausted all the time? Probably not. We got to talk about sustainability here. So also, carbs are our biggest fiber source. Why is fiber important? Fiber is how we digest everything. We need fiber in order for our body to properly digest food, in order for our health, for our gastrointestinal tract, in order for us to feel more satisfied and meal. We need fiber, and women need 25 grams of fiber a day. So that can seem like a lot. And it's honestly pretty hard to get to that number, but that's what's imperative in order for our digestion to be exactly where it's supposed to be. It's just taking us to even. It's not giving us more added benefit. That's why it's so important to do these things. So what kind of foods are fiber made of? Basically fruits, vegetables, nuts, whole grains. That's pretty much it. And beans, if you like beans. So we have to eat more of those vegetables and those fruits and those healthy carbs such as rice and quinoa to help us get to that number. So we need to be eating the carbs. So there is a difference between, good carbs for you and bad carbs for you. And we need to focus on the better carbs. So good carbs for you, I like to refer to as complex carbs. The reason why they're called complex carbs is they're harder to break down. So what does that mean for you? That means that digestion is slower. So when we intake a carb, one of two things happens. We either get immediate energy and just like an intense blood sugar spike, or we ingest a complex carb that takes longer to digest, and it's more of like a slower increase in energy, but it's sustained energy. So it's for the long-term gain. That's exactly what we want. Now, there are times when we need the short-term blood sugar spike. They're like, runners who take energy gels and they need that immediate energy burst. That's exactly what that's for. But we get that energy spike, the quick one, when we eat like pastries and pastas and cereals and things like that have a lot of carbs in them, but they're not complex. They're not hard to break down. So what complex carbs should we be focusing on? Basically, the fruits, the vegetables, the beans, the whole grains, and also the nuts. Like, those are the things that we need to prioritize when we're talking about our carbs. There is a difference between, obviously starchier carbs versus non-starchier carbs. We need both. So a lot of people shy away from like potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, butternut squash, because those are starchier vegetables. But there's absolutely a place for those. Each of these types of carbs have different added benefits. They give us fiber, they give us vitamins, they give us minerals, they give us antioxidants, all those things that we desperately need. And if you're only eating like the super healthy leafy greens all of the time, you're missing out on those benefits of those vitamins and minerals and all of those things. So we need to distribute accurately to be able to include all different types of variety. It's also really good for our gut health to be able to have variety in our diets and use lots of different things. So we need to be getting all of those type of carbs into our lives. So how does that look like on your plate? I always kind of like to break this down. If you were looking at your plate, you would basically have a fourth of your plate with a protein source, whatever it may be, chicken, fish, shrimp, whatever. And then you'd have a fourth of your plate that would be your starchy carb, because they are more calorie dense. They do have more carbs in them. So we can't, eat a ton of them all the time, but we need them. So we need to put them on our plate. And then also half of your plate should be the non-starchy carbs. So those are your leafy greens, those are your broccolis, those are your carrots, those are your cauliflower, all those types of things that honestly, they're the best thing when you are trying to lose weight, because you can eat a lot of them for nothing. And they keep you full because they're full of fiber. So that's the great thing. So we need all types of carbs in our lives, but more importantly, we just need carbs in general to help us, fuel us to get through the day. Especially if you're a mom on here, we need all the carbs. We need them. And then let's talk about fat. Fats are so important. They also get a bad rap because people are like, oh, well, eating fat makes you fat. Nope, not true. Actually, fats for females are so important for hormone function. If we're not getting at least 55 grams of fat a day, our hormones cannot function the way they were designed to do. Again, we're not up-leveling our hormones here. We're just coming to the baseline. This is the things we just got to do to get in our body to perform optimally at what we've been given to do. So we have to prioritize eating healthy fats, okay? Not only for hormone function, they're great for brain function. They're great for bone function. There's so many added benefits to eating healthy fats in your diet. So there are, as carbs are, healthy fats versus not so great fats. Those fats are not good for your cholesterol, the not so great ones, but what can we focus on? The healthy fats. So these are the olive oils. So it could just be the cooking style that you use when you cook your proteins. Or if you want actual tangible things, avocado, nuts are a great source of it, peanut butter, flaxseed, chia seeds, fatty fish. If you love fish, if you're not getting, you need at least one serving a week of fatty fish. Salmon, it should be your go-to if you like it, because we need those omegas to be able to properly have brain function. Like, we need those. So I always say a good tip that I've learned over time is, if you're like hitting that 3 p.m. and have like major brain fog, I did for a long time, eat some almonds, eat some nuts, get some healthy fats in your life as soon as you can, because that desperately helps with brain function. And then couple it with a carb so you can get some sustained energy at the same time. It's a game changer. So that's just an easy, like, random tip to include in here because it's helped me a lot. So now we've covered all of that, just about Nutrition 101, why we prioritize those nutrients, what they're doing for us, and how we can optimally get our body to operate. How can we use what we know to find balance?